All right, this is a QC audit for job 24049. This is the Brown Bear in Seattle, and there is 4 phases to this. The first phase was this concrete panel that's up here and one around the other side of the building I'll show you, that was done on the 20th, and then the asphalt was done on the 21st and the 22nd, and then the curb and striping were also done on the 22nd. So on the 20th, this concrete pad was poured to this drain and all the way back. Had a very tight tolerance. Came all the way back here. And then throughout this, I will show sections of curb that were done. This curb was done on the 22nd. Resto looks great, good cleanup. A little bit of mix there on the asphalt. Then this asphalt all slopes down to this concrete, which then flows to the drain, and then the rest, the apron, goes out to the city. Now, we had some issues with the roller cut on this edge. There's some spots where it's just a hair low here, just a tad. The water hangs up on it for a second, but then it flows into the concrete. So just need to be careful putting the drum of the roller right on the edge of that concrete. And then this is a gas valve that is depressed around. We tried to lift it up with the collar that's on there and couldn't get it to budge. I was here for that, dug it down like 1.5 feet, found the bottom of the collar. It's got one of the plastic ones that's threaded and spins, and we could not get it to spin its way up. Didn't want to break it. So if that's an issue, we'll have to have PSE come out and adjust the height of that, and then we can patch just around it. That's why we kept it so severe. So if we need to patch around it, we can do a small repair, like a 3x3 or a 4x4 around it once that gets raised up, and that'll be the grade. Cleanup looks good out on the street. And then coming across, this was the big patch, and this so we have a little bit of a hump here, which we had to do in order to get enough fall to go out. So this pave has a flow line shooting all the way down from this curb, which looks good, by the way. It's not all the way dry at the base of it. I'm guessing some water seeping out of the planter there, but the curb does look pretty good. Little handwork section around this drain. Gets a little skinny on top, but they held a great edge on the front side of it. Looks really nice. Back to the asphalt. So there's a flow line from the curb that goes all the way down to the drain, and this is set at about 1% with a 0.5% slope coming in, especially at this corner. This concrete kind of raises up as the elevation goes down. The concrete's relatively flat, so as our elevation drops, we get a higher percentage coming off of that. But at this first stall is about 0.5% cross slope with 1% down the flow line, and so we had to work that kind of slow, which is why, you know, we could do a little better at keeping it hot and making this a little prettier on the asphalt finish. But this is water. This is not the asphalt all buckled up. Then the striping was done here. There's another section of curb just on the other side of this patrol car. Striping looks great. It's all uniform, in line, no overspray, similar sizes. Then the curb line, did that curb all the way down, which looks pretty good. There's a little bit of a kick in at the very end, but I know they were fighting with the landscaping there, and the restoration looks really good here. So continuing down, the one area of concern that I had for water is right here. There's a slight depression before it gets to that drain. It does flow, but that is the tightest area we have in this. Everything flows off of the car washes there, and then there's a crown in it here where all the water flows to that basin and then comes back to that basin. So Some roller cut marks here. Some lines that we need to take out. I'll talk with Mondo about that. And then we could have done a better job torching when we did this header. Now I know that the way we pulled this, we pulled out, then the little entrance, then this out, stopped. So this one was done all the way through. Then we went all the way back and did all that, worked our way out, paved this in, continued out, and then came back to this. So I need to torch that a little better and happy feed it in, get those lines out of there next time. Tar looks nice and uniform. Stripe that one line there, just taken out by the asphalt patch. Then this patch was almost completely flat. So we smart leveled, ran the paver shot out with our shoe in a foot, because if we ran it all the way, we would have had a giant puddle here. This was extremely tight. We ran it with the smart level, checking it and raking it and doing it by hand. That's why it doesn't look as smooth as if it was just a paver shot. But after water testing, there's a little depression in the existing right there that holds some water, but it all shoots down and it does all go to the basin. We water tested it. It comes off of the flow line a little bit and zigs and zags out here and comes back and makes it off the patch. Tar looks good. Coming up on our second concrete section. This was poured in place concrete curb, and then a concrete panel, and then a little concrete across the sidewalk. And then there's this asphalt patch here, which all flows down and then bowls in around to this basin. And then another asphalt patch here. It's under these cars, can't really see it, but it's just a little 2 foot that goes along this concrete. I know there was some asphalt up in here, so I got cleaned up well. Nice job on restoration. And we have this concrete panel here, which looks nice and flush on the edge. Little gap in the expansion there. The poured in place curb we did looks a little rough, to be honest. And then went across the sidewalk there. Just looks a little abrasive. Doesn't look as bad in person as it's turning out in the video, but the finish on that is interesting. So I think it looks good from a zoomed out perspective, especially with the rocks there, but that's something we need to make sure we take care of. And then same thing, some concrete, looks like it was scrubbed and just not coming up off of that concrete there. And then there's one last little thing in the very back, but it's locked now behind the gate, and it's just a 2x2. So I'm happy with the way this turned out. We could have been a little quicker with our raking. We're still learning that, and it would have made these seams just a little less visible. But the water flows in some really tight areas, and I'm happy with the way these patches came out. So that's it.